guys on my YouTube channel Pharma Learning with Deepika. In my previous video lectures on size reduction, I had discussed equipment which is used for size reduction, that is ball mill, hammer mill, fluid energy mill, rotary cutter mill and roller mill. The link of my previous video is in the description box. You can go and check it out. Now I will discuss with you about another size reducing equipment which is colloidal mill. But before that, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, then please go and subscribe it and share my videos as much as you can. Colloidal mill is a machine that is used to reduce the size of a particle of solid that are suspended in a liquid. When a liquid is suspended in another liquid, meaning that they are immiscible. This machine is used alternatively to reduce the size of these droplets. So simply put, the colloidal mill is used to solid present in a suspension and emulsion or even the suspension sizes. So it is used in the reduction of almost all type of material. The end result of this type of mix is very stable mix which is able to resist contamination by water. In fact, this is the method used to mixing cement based grout. The colloidal mill is used a method known as shearing. Now let's talk about the principle of colloidal mill. Colloidal mill is consist of two steel discs having a clearance between them. When the material is passed through this disc, they get sheared. So thus coarse particles are broken down in small particles due to shear. Now let's talk about the construction of colloidal mill. So the colloidal mill is consist of an inlet which is subjected to tremendous shearing action that affects a time dispersion of uniform size and an outlet. As you can see here in this diagram, here it is the inlet and outlet. Colloidal mill works on the starter and rotor principle. So the equipment breaks down material by forming a dispersion of material in a liquid. Shearing takes place in a narrow gap between a static cone, that is a starter, and a rapidly rotating cone, that is a rotor. So the speed of rotation of rotor is around 3000 to 20,000 rpm. So to reduce wear, the rotor and starter are constructed using toughened steel. The rotor of a colloidal mill can differ from one machine to another, but the operating principle is the same of all. So each manufacturer incorporates specific features that result in change in operating efficacy. So the final size of the product obtained after combination is a function of the following. First one is the homogenization intensity and duration. Second is the viscosity of a continuous phase. And the third is the shear force within the gap between the spinning rotor and the stationary starter. So the clearance rate between the rotor and the starter. So depends on these things, the combination. Now let's talk about the working of colloidal mill. So the product to be sheared is passed through the inlet which is on the top of the mill known as the hopper. It is then passed through the narrow gap between the rotor and starter. The rust edges shear the material into the tiniest particles depending on the rotation speed. This mill uses a hydraulic system to shear the material into the final product. It is mainly work on the material that will be suspended on the liquid or emulsion. As you continue to add the heavier liquid, the suspension floats to the narrower gap and the shearing process continues. As the process continues, the two viscous elements continue to mix. There are models where both the starter and the rotor rotates together, and there are other models where only the rotor rotates and the starter remains still. This mechanism is used for various purposes in the pharmaceutical field, like dispersion of solid particles in an emulsion, emulsification, milling, homogenization, and improving the stability of emulsion. Now let's talk about the pharmaceutical uses of colloidal mill. So colloidal mill is most often used for the combination of the solids and for the preparation of suspension, especially suspension containing solids that are not weighted by the dispersion medium. It is also used to increase the stability of suspension and emulsion. It is used in the formulation of colloidal dispersion, suspension, emulsion and ointment. Then colloidal mill is used for grinding, dispersing and homogenizing of ointment, cream, gels and high viscous fluid in one operation. Now let's talk about the advantages of colloidal mill. So it has a wide range of use, including combination of slurry fluid material. And next advantage is no pressure is required for ionization. And next is the machine is simply constructed. Next, it can be easily adjusted. And colloidal mill is easy to clean after use. Next advantage is the machine is self-draining. Next, high capacity and minimum requirements. Reduced wear as a result of the construction of the rotor starter with toughened steel, low machine noise level. Now let's talk about the disadvantages of colloidal mill. It has no wide application in solids, wear of the rotating plates, no fine grinding, and it consumes energy, though it still depends on some factors. So that's all about today's video. We'll meet with next video. Thank you guys. Meet you with the next video. Stay safe and healthy. Till then, bye bye. Take care.